Aloha! Welcome to Ahualoa Family Farm Mini Kitchen Series. I'm Chef Renee, and today we'll be teaching you how to make macadamia nut pesto. Today's ingredients include our cold-pressed macadamia nut oil, our freshly diced macadamia nut pieces, our fresh garlic and basil, sea salt, grated Parmesan, and your favorite pasta noodles. The first step of our recipe is to go ahead and puree or dice down the macadamia nut pieces to a fine grind. Now, you don't want to over process this because you want to avoid liquefying it. The oil will heat up and it tends to make it a little bit more like a spread. We want it nice and flaky and more like a flour consistency. We're going to put all of these ingredients right into our food processor, and then we're just going to start processing. First is the macadamia nut. So we're going to put the macadamia nuts inside of the food processor, and we're just going to pulse it a couple of times before we go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. Perfect. And this is the consistency we want. If you try to process it a little bit more, it's going to start to get oily and liquefy. So this is the exact texture that we're looking for. Next, we're going to go ahead and add all of the rest of the ingredients. First, we're going to go ahead and add our cold pressed macadamia nut oil that we make here in the kitchen. We're going to take our garlic cloves, and then we're going to go ahead and add our basil. And I like to just put it around the food processor so it all doesn't get stuck to one side. And then we're going to add our freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And then we are going to go ahead and add our salt. The next step is we're going to go ahead and process this until the basil leaves have broken down and it's well incorporated. And that is our macadamia nut pesto. So what you're going to want to do is remove it from the container, and we want to put it into a food container or a bowl. If you're going to plan to eat it immediately, you're welcome just to put it into any type of sauce container or anything that you may have. So we're going to go ahead and remove the blade. Now, if you don't have a food processor at home, if you have like a little bullet that you make your smoothies in, or something that does a small, even a blend or a grind on it would actually work. And then we're going to scoop that out. I don't think you can get any fresher than this. So this pesto is actually great on pasta. I like to go ahead and add it to chicken when I bake it. It's just really fresh or aromatic. You can smell the garlic. That macadamia nut oil is going to add moisture. So you got a nice little good marinade even. So we're going to scrape down the bowl. Now, this is good up on the refrigerator, in the refrigerator, or on the shelf in the fridge for about 2 to 3 days, just because everything is fresh. It's not going to be great if you leave it out, only because the fresh basil could brown and discolor your pesto. Okay, folks, and then that is our macadamia nut pesto. All right, so now that we have our cooked pasta set aside and our most beautiful, freshest green macadamia nut pesto, and then we're gonna go ahead and top it off with that freshly grated Parmesan cheese. So what I like to do is take a couple of tablespoons, depending on how much you like. I like a lot, so I'm gonna put about two good tablespoons in there. And because the pasta is still nice and warm, this is gonna melt it down and incorporate. So you just wanna mix it and mix it well so all the noodles are coated. And you can also add cheese while you're doing this process as well, if you like it. I'm gonna actually top our dish off. So then we're gonna get our plate here. The Italians like to do is like swirl it around. I'm gonna put it right center of the plate. And there you have it, Ahualoa Macadamia Nut Pesto. Alrighty, here is our macadamia nut pesto pasta.
Oh my gosh, this is the best part of my job right here. I'm just gonna eat this whole thing.